All right, Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway, or otherwise BNS, Train Dispatcher Operator Control Operation Manual. Train Dispatcher Operation Manual, November 1st, 2001. Track warrant and track bulletin instruction for train dispatchers. 411, ready for delivery. Have track warrants and have track bulletins ready for delivery to avoid train delays. 42, 41-2, address, draft track warranties, general track bulletins as follows. Train signal direction authority designates the train authorized to proceed in one direction. Only boxcar 2 and 3 by initials, engine number, and direction. Example, the Bnsf 5528 West. Working between authorities. Designated trains authorized to work between Box 4 and initials and engine number. Example, the BNS 3650. Initial bulletin delivery. Designation train and train symbol initials engineering number. Example, ZWSPN BY910 BNSF 50 BNS 528. Engine unknown. When transmitting electrical engine number is unknown, the engine unknown is placed in the initial for the engine number. ZWSPN 9BY910 engine unknown. Yard engine initial bulletin delivery. Designation engine and confined to the yard tracks and portion of the main track where authorized by the GCOR Rule 613 and 614. Yard engine initial numbers when verbally transmitted and job signal and date yard, Y yard, and Y engine followed with the shift number designated with the transmission electronically within the TSS. For example, the verbal yard engine BNSF 3650. Electronically yard B7B 101 26 yard engine initial numbers and no number optional. Yard number 1 26 yard engine initial number 1 optional. Yard engine number 2 26 yard engine initials and number optional. Authority to track warrant designated above the engine for when verbally authorized within the track warranting controls. Limits of the box 2 and 3 initials engine number and direction if they're both authorized by the box W within the track warranting control limits. Initial engine number, the example, the box 2 and box 3 being SF 2812 east and the box number 4 being SF 2812. Yard masters, when delivering, will be made by a yard master or an ATM address. The track warrant is follows: Y yard date and at location, Y yard job symbol date and location, or YM and yard engines. The numbers and the afterword with the yard, and for example, should be reflect the shift in which the track warrant is issued 1, 2, or 3. Address verbally direction of the track bulletins as follows: by initialing engine number with the direct operational BNS at 4978 and BNSF 4978 West 413 track bulletins in effect. At their initial station, they issue with the conductor and the engine track warranting general track bulletins that list the track bulletins in effect. No if no track bulletins are in effect. Make sure that all the track bulletins which are in effect between the point of origin and final destination for a train or engine crew on the track warrant and general track bulletin received at the initial station. Convey the track bulletins placed in effect at a later time by one of the following: is list them on a subsequent track warrant or general track bulletin. Verbally transmit them, send them electronically to print or fax. Verify the receipt of the track bulletins delivered electronically with the track warrant and referred to the TDOMC Rule 4153 regarding restrictive track bulletins. 4131 lost track warrant and general track bulletins. When the track warrant or general track bulletin is transmitted electronically, the TSS is subsequently lost or never received a designation to the following: run the TCS track warrant check directed to the command TWC check, general track bulletin check, or GTB and direct command GTB-CHK. Display the lost track warrant and general track bulletins information. Use the resend option to send an exact fax of the lost track warrant and general track bulletin to the same direction or location as necessary. Not use the resend function in the current track bulletins are different and the original issued unless the train change does not affect the train involved. Instead, issue a new track warrant or general track bulletin. 445 41.4. Track bulletins in the yard. Yard master and yard engines. At the beginning of each of the yard engine and the yard mastership, each of the track warrant and general track bulletins issued with the yard master and yard engines that list the tractor bulletins in effect, none or no, if no tracks or bulletins are in effect. No specific location identified by your supervisor track warrant general track bulletin will be issued directly to the switch engines, but in all cases, reference to the yard engines must not include the address. 415, delivered electronically. 4151, the VMS system delivery. The following will apply for the use of the voicemail system, delivered track warrants and track bulletins. 3-digit location can be added or deleted upon this request of the system administrator, manager, and the dispatch practices and rules. When building a supply sheet for the train to be ensure of the input train sub-symbol accurately, the voicemail system will read the train system to the crew exactly the way it was entered on the supply sheet. If the crew retrieves the wrong track warrant of the track bulletins, instruct them to destroy what they have retrieved. Any of the verifying the documents have been destroyed, resend the track warrant and track bulletins. Only on one track warrant, per the control track warrant control district can be sent for a particular train system. For example, turnaround local that would normally be issued at the item 7 track warrant on themselves at their turning point can receive both of their authority warrants of the voicemail system under the same train symbol. It's permissible to send a train warrants under separate train symbols as long as the train crew is informed by the dispatcher both the warrants and the voicemail system under 2 different train symbols. Dog catch crews can receive the track warrant and bulletins via the voicemail system. However, be sure that the GCOR Rule 1512 is complied with the guard against the possibility of the original track warrant and the track bulletins be left on the train by the original crew. If the information of the track bulletin changed prior to the crew retrieving the information from the voicemail system, it becomes necessary to reissue the track warrant bulletin of the train following the instruction may be complied to determine the voicemail system location on Seattle, Denver, Springfield. Some dispatching utilize more than one voicemail system. Dial the numbers associated with the correct voicemail system for the listed below. Seattle 8625-6100 after voice prompt mail 625-017. Denver 848 7400 after the voice prompt mail for prompt dial 480106. Springfield 864-2300 after the voicemail 864-0602. Do not press or pound key prior to entering the number of the following voicemail prompt. Enter the identification code 12345 for all the districts. A series of voice prompts will lead you there through canceling delivery of the track warrant and track bulletins. Enter the 3-digit location that the track warrant and the track bulletins were sent to for the 4-digit district for the ID number on which they were prompted to do so. Once you have canceled the delivery of the information, you can now send a new track warrant and track bulletins. Note, if you try to cancel delivery of a track warrant and track bulletins but are unable to identify that they are still in voicemail system, then you must be considered retrieved by a field employee, giving the crew any change to any other method is provided by the rules. 4152, restrictive track warrant. Do not issue track warrant electronically if the restriction of the train moves. The train has received authority to leave the station. Issue the restriction directly to the crew member. Do not use the second paragraph of the GCOR Rule 1413 mechanical transmission of the track warrant. 4153, restrictive track bulletin. Do not issue track bulletin electronically if restricted the train movement that the train has received authority to leave the station. Exemption is the track bulletin electronically is permitted. Before issuing, the train dispatcher informs the crew member the track bulletin will be issued electronically. A crew member assures the dispatcher that the train will not leave without the track bulletin. 4154, delivered electronically and voided. When necessary to void a track warrant or track bulletin, delivered electronically, voided directly to the conductor, engineer, and employee qualified on the GCOR MWR. Alright. Year 4155, track warranting contacting authority. Track warrants grant authority to box 2 and 3 and 4 may be not only used electronically through the CTWC track warranting. When using the CTWC system, it is issued the track warrants granting authority to box 2, 3, and 4 with direct delivery to the printer fax, not dictated with authority tracks and not under direct supervision. So do only when the employee who is receiving the track warrant is physically at the location of the printer or the fax. 416 left blank intentionally. 417 no longer in effect unless using the CTWC of the TSS when the track warning track bulletin is no longer in effect. Right void across the in red, and track warrant has only track bulletins listed on item 16. Make it voided after the crew has received the track warrant. Maintain a file of all non-CTWCs or non-TSS track warrants or track bulletins if made by the subsequent track warrant should the track warrant number as voided by track number. 418 track warrant and track bulletin example. Using the following example, the track bulletin, track warrants, the timetable, special instruction, general order modifications. The following example to change the timetable, special and general order. Blank timetable number takes effect at a time and date. Division general order number blank is canceled. Blank timetable blank number blank subdivision. All subdivision item number blank is canceled. 4182 suspended block system signal per GCOR Rule 912 suspension of block system. When example below on only the division superintendent authorized the block system or section of it to remove from service specifies the exact location between the block system is suspended. Effective time of the date blocking system is suspended on blank track between blank and blank be governed by the Rule 924 track warranty control is in effect with a maximum authorized speed limit blank miles per hour or passenger train blank miles per hour and or trains blank miles per hour. Add the following if necessary. Blank interlocking signal remain in service at blank crossing warning is malfunctioning be governed by the Rule 632.2. At blank switch line for blank track. At blank spring switch spike for the track. At blank automatic switches out of service and remain in service. 4183 track warranting detectors using the following example. Track detector signals are not in service and out of order. Signals blank and temporarily out of service and block extended blank signal blank to signal blank. Signals at blank out of order must be regarded displaying and it must be restrictive indication at blank MP name of the director out of service blank the time until time cab signals will be inoperative between blank and blank. Note, dispatchers may issue instruction verbally to remove the trackside warning detectors from the server. The instruction must be delivered in the same manner with the malfunctioning cross signal. It is the dispatcher's responsibility to protect the condition. 4184, speed restriction. Use the following example. The track bulletin form A is not in use. Do not exceed blank miles per hour on blank track on the blank MP or blank MP. Do not exceed blank miles per hour at blank passenger freight or freight trains. Do not exceed blank miles per hour on blank track between blank mile post and blank mile post. And the following is necessary time until in time tracks flags not displayed and between station and station. 418 and 5 switches. Spring switches protect spring switches that have been damaged or spiked or track bulletin, track warrant, or flag man. Spike switches not effective with the trains with switches spiked with the track bulletin, track conditions message, whichever is applicable. 4186 flags placed less than the required distance. When notified with the yellow or yellow red flags are placed less than 2 miles from the restriction, show the actual location of the flags and flags column and on the track bulletin. Leave the column blank where the flags are placed if it's required in 2 mile distance. Insert Rule 15.2.1 in the flags columns when they're reissuing 15.2.1 Form B. 4187 whistle warning request. A whistle warning request is used with the following example. Whistle freely between milepost and milepost from time until in time for confer the supervisor before granting whistling warning to evaluate the appropriate protection is provided with the 4188 occupied outfit cars are set out. When occupied outfit cars have been sent out, use the following example. Blank occupied outfit cars on track must be not coupled to or moved without authority to the employee in charge. 4189 track removed from the service. Double track. When one of the double track is removed from the service due to an interruption, repair to the track issues instruction by the track bulletin as follows. Effective time, track out of service, the bulletin, and location. These instructions may be modified in address. Engine must be authorized per Rule 6.3 to be directed by the name and the title of the employee to use the out-service track. Make all the movements of the out-of-service track as restricted speed unless otherwise directed by the name and the title of the employee. Single track. One of the single track authority except for the CTC is in effect when the main track is removed from the service. Sliding or other track is used instead. Issuing the instruction for the track bulletin as follows. At location after time, main track out of service between side and housing track, etc. Switches will be left in line with the locked for movement and through the traffic. At location after time, the main track out of the service between the siding and house track and the switches. Engines must be authorized per Rule 6.3, directed by the name and the title employed to use the out of the service track. Make all the movements on the out of service track as a restricted speed unless otherwise directed by the name and title of the employee. Switches may be left lined and locked for the movement through the track. Switch tender. If arrangements are made for the switches to be handled with the switch tender, modify the double track example, adding the following replace the part with a single track example, referring to the switches being left lined and locked for the movement through the siding and other track for the following. Switches in charge of the switch tender with automatic block signal limits you may be added in the following when complying with the provisions of the GCOR Rule 912 for the 5-minute waiting provision of the GCR Rule 917 is suspended at this location. 42. Track warrant control instructions for train dispatchers.